each and every day to thousands of different jobs, whether it's the corporation they own where they're making millions, or the Target down the street making minimum wage. People have to support their families with the little or large amount that they make. You may not have experienced living below the poverty line, and you may not have experienced not being able to support your family, but this is an apparent problem in America that needs to be fixed. And according to my audience analysis survey, taken on November 21st, 2013, 93% of you say that poverty in America is an issue that needs to be addressed. My family may not live below the poverty line, but I have seen hardworking families struggle to make ends meet. So you should vote for me, because we can decrease the percent of Americans living below the poverty line by assisting them, raising minimum wage, and helping them further their education. Many working Americans are falling below the poverty line. They go to work each and every day, and they come home and some don't have food to eat, heat in the winter, and then some can't afford electricity this month. According to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Federal Register, Volume 78, January 24, 2013, to be below the poverty line for a family of 4, you have to make a maximum of $23,550. Imagine your family living off of $23,550. That's $64 each day and $16 per person each day. The probable cause of people falling below the poverty line is low minimum wage, the lack of education, and uneven distribution of wealth. In the article Wealth, Income, and Poverty, Empowering Who Rules America, written by G. William Danoff in February 2013, there was a chart with the mean income of top 1% in America. That 1% makes a mean income of $1,318,000 each year. 4 in 5 people in America are at or below the poverty line. So if we apply this number to our class and say we have 25 people, 20 out of the 25 kids in our class are at or below the poverty line. Taxes, something we all pay. When people go on welfare, it costs the taxpayers money. So if everyone paid their own taxes, our taxes would go down, and we'd have more disposable income to spend, which in turn would help our job economy. Now that I've discussed the problem, I'd like to discuss the solution. Assisting those who are at or below the poverty line is a solution to our problem. The many men and women who are working but are below the poverty line, by assisting them, we can decrease the percent. For the people that are at or below the poverty line, they can submit an application to the government asking for assistance. They have to prove that they are spending their money wisely and on the necessities. The percentage will rise just as fast as gas prices if we don't act now. More time and money will need to be spent by the government and more money from the companies if we plan to increase minimum wage. In the New York Times article entitled Among the Wealthiest 1%, Many Variations, written by Shayla Dewin and Robert Giebelhoff on January 14, 2012, says, "But there is no doubt that the troubled economy has focused anger on the fact that the rich have grown richer and the middle class over the last decade has lost ground. The government assists the people. They have to prove that they are spending their money wisely. By implementing my solution, the problem will be decreased if we assist them. If we help families, it'll make their lives more comfortable and it will decrease their financial burden. By allowing the government to assist these families, we can help them get back on their feet, get a better education, a better job, and be able to provide for their families." According to an article titled Working Poor Families Report shows more families working low-paying, unstable jobs, written by James Godard on January 16, 2013, states, "New data from the U.S. Census Bureau shows that the number of low-income working families in the U.S. increased to 10.4 million in 2011. That's up from 10.2 million a year earlier. This means that nearly one-third of working families, that's 32%, may not have enough money to meet basic needs. And according to my audience analysis survey, you listed some ways that we could help working poor families. That is to increase minimum wage and to help with education. Like America, other countries have problems. In Europe, if you make lower than a certain amount, you are able to get work benefits to help your financial situation. Now that I've talked about the solution, I'd like to talk about the benefits. By helping the people that are at or below the poverty line, we are helping our nation's economy and giving people hope. Imagine a struggling family who hasn't been able to make ends meet in years, and they're finally able to provide the life for their kids that they've always wanted, and they get the education that they've always needed. All of us in this room here are here to get an education, so we can have a successful future and provide for our families. Now imagine if you didn't have that opportunity. Where would you be standing right now? People are constantly reminded at the grocery store or when their kids get home from school and they can't give them a snack that they are below the poverty line. If we don't do something now, these hardworking people may never get the life that they deserve. Imagine your family below the poverty line. Your parents go to work, they work hard, they come home, and you still can't make ends meet. All these things are like a nightmare that people are living each and every day. In conclusion, today I have discussed why the government should assist the working poor, to assist them, to raise minimum wage, and to help them further their education. You should vote for me, because we can decrease the percentage of Americans who are working poor. And if we don't, this percentage may increase. Some of us may not have experienced working poverty, but no one should experience it, which is why this is an issue that needs to be addressed now. As we sit in our desks today, we may think that this is something that we can think about later, or maybe not at all. What we might not realize is that people around us are struggling financially. And we are the future and are the only people that can turn this around.